was weird. The browser source just kind of died.
Huh.
And
that is in
it kind
fact
of killed everything.
Rat row.
Okay. We're back, though.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah, it didn't. Niantic didn't specify if you need to be near somebody in order to battle them, or you could just battle with whoever. It'd be nice if you could battle with whoever, because trading is proximity based. You have to be near somebody to trade Pokemon with them. But apparently, you can set up multiple teams for the different leagues you can be in. There's a Great League, an Ultra League, and a Master League. The difference is the Great League, you can only have up to 1500 CP on a Pokemon. Ultra is 2500, and Master has no limits. This remind you of anything?
Yeah.
For those not in the know, that's kind of how Pokemon Stadium was set up, with the different leagues. So I don't know if they're trying to reference Pokemon Stadium or not, but that is the case.
Also, don't mind me, I forgot to take into account something when I was setting up earlier.
What'd you forget?
You know, remove the top part of the browser. I just happened to look over and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right.
And it also looks like teams are 3v3 instead of 6v6. I guess just to make it not last forever. That's fine. So, yeah. Trainer battles! Sometime next year, I believe, is probably the best, or probably the best estimate I could probably, or anyone could probably give on this. It'll probably be next year at some point. I don't think we'll see this in the next, month or so. So how interested are you in able to actually battle a living person in Pokemon Go finally?
Well, seeing as how I've not touched Pokemon Go in quite some time, meh.
It doesn't help that I'm going to be in your same boat in 2 weeks when I move out. Or move back home because, oh look, I'm not in a really densely populated area of Pokemon Go. I even found out, because when I was at the Legendary Raid for Cresselia, that one of the students is wanting to make an official club for Pokemon Go on campus. And I'm like, God damn it! I'd actually hook up with that. Because that sounds like an actually good idea instead of just having the Discord for the Murfreesboro area for Pokemon Go. Actually having a club on campus to help organize, especially for the raids and stuff, since there's 8 or 10 gyms on campus. Having a far more organized, way of getting people together in order to do especially the legendary raids. Yeah. That would be nice. But shall we talk about how Nintendo is ending a thing that I don't think anyone cared about after a while?
Can we hold that thought for just a little bit? Because I'm trying to set something to where we don't end up getting derped from OBS again.
I've
almost got it done.
I was like, I got nothing except hey, if you scroll down to a certain point, you can see what Mithra's design looks like for Smash Ultimate for her spirit. Which, considering you can fuse spirits, I wonder if the fused form of Farah and Mithra will be a spirit in the game, since the fusing of spirits takes certain materials. I'm actually curious about that now, because I know Pyra's a spirit, and this kind of confirms Mithra's a spirit. Of course, I think practically every main character in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a his character is a spirit in the game.
Well, that's good to know. That manages
What?
to break that.
What did you do?
Aha, very funny. Can we not do that, please? Like, please? Really? Oh, you gotta do that now. Okay. Okay. Then we'll do it this way. Because you know it's a no. When I decided to move it, and now it won't let me fix it back like I had it, so... Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. That button, not the other button. Smart aleck. Okay, we'll just do it this way and hope that this doesn't decide it wants to crash it. Maybe if it's not playing the music itself, then it'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, the reason I said that's because I would have had to have tried to do 4 things at the same time and that wouldn't work. Now we can transition to the thing that no one probably, maybe, kind of doesn't care about.
Yeah, that Nintendo Creators Program that's now gone. And apparently it's just being replaced by Nintendo Games Content Guidelines of just... You remember when Microsoft had their guidelines for their content?
Yeah.
Kind of skimming through these. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, this feels like the exact same thing as when Microsoft had their whole spiel on the guidelines of how to stream our content and how to do YouTube videos of our content.
I see why they're changing it now.
Why?
Okay, the Creators Program was originally designed more to focus on YouTube. The way they've kind of broke away from that is this focuses on pretty much anything that you do.
Any platform except
that
Mixer.
You can make money, except Mixer, because, you know, people don't use Mixer. Yet. Let Twitch keep breaking things and then people will start using it.
Yes, they'll do it and then they'll abandon it, just like Hitbox.
Uh-huh. Also, shoutouts to Twitch. Remember how we couldn't see the link to the achievements but could access it?
Yes.
We can't access it now unless we're logged into the main account for it. So shoutouts to Twitch managing to break that.
Thanks, Twitch. Appreciate that. I only ever logged in to checked our viewer that viewer shit. What's the name I'm looking for? Active viewers in chat. See how that number bounced around and would never give up one.
I don't think we actually had to though. For that information.
Yeah, it's probably in the analytics somewhere.
I think it was anyhow. Since they're blocking the achievements now, I'm like, You know, that's what kind of is the problem. Twitch's dashboard was fine until they decided to go and update it. Granted, at least it's still set up better to where we can, share access to the main dashboard. Unlike Mixer. Because I don't think that exists on Mixer yet. But, yeah.
Yeah. Wish there was a way to go, alright, this is a Twitch account that, technically is run by people who aren't logged into that account. Can you just give those people the same permissions? As if they were that person. Just to make it easier.
Yeah,
I'm kind of not surprised, but Nintendo will be Nintendo and will continue to be years behind everyone else when it comes to anything.
Yep.
That is the best way I can describe it. But in slightly better news, at least for me, maybe. What happened?
OBS, please quit. Just quit.
Did OBS break again?
No, I look over and it apparently just said it was going to freeze frame on Firefox on the last article. So, window capture on the OBS Linux version doesn't work properly. That's the one thing I'm like, I wish they ported that properly. Because the Windows version doesn't have a problem with it. I have to think it's because of how they hook to the programs.
Probably.
Because I know in Windows, everything is given an ID number. And it effectively just hooks to that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a funny feeling that it attempts to do that in Linux, but fails miserably. Oh, no. That's a Firefox issue. Now I'm seeing it. There's only one process for Firefox. I have 2 browser windows. I know what's going on now. Yep.
I was about to say, how many processes?
Opera.
I was about to say, how many processes is Firefox for me at the moment? Even though I only have 4 tabs. Well, 3 tabs spread across 2 windows.
It should at least be 1 for each window, and then I think the way Firefox updated in one of the last ones, you probably have I'm willing to say 6 total.
You're 1 off. It is in fact 7.
Because I think there's 1 for the main wrapper for the entire program, and then there's 1 for extensions and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because they took the Chrome approach to it. Everything needs its own process.
Why?
So that one thing can crash and it won't kill the entire browser.
Alright.
Except the problem with that is that eats up more resources. That's the bad trade-off.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I was saying, in slightly better news, at least for me, maybe, coming May 4th of next year, there will be a Fire Emblem Expo in Japan. Now I say yay because you know how we're supposed to get a Fire Emblem game on Switch? That's barely been talked about outside of, I think, one trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of like some more news on that one, Nintendo. Just a little bit, maybe.
Nope. Because
So yeah,
Fire Emblem, for some stupid reason, is kind of in the same priority spot for Nintendo that Kingdom Hearts is for Square.
that feels right.
It's one of those, it's popular, but the head guys don't realize it's popular, so it's like, it gets the back burner treatment every time.
I am totally on board with that comparison. Yeah, I would love to know more about Three Kingdoms. Like, I don't know, more gameplay details, some more release, or some more, I don't know, anything on Three Kingdoms, especially a release date, because I don't think we even have a release date for it.
Probably
So,
not.
yeah.
Probably just 2019.
Yeah. Well, in slightly worse news, you know that PlayStation Classic that Sony's putting out? As I was telling you pre-stream, because I was telling you about it. Okay, this article talks about how several of the games are going to be running the PAL versions, aka a 50 hertz version, not a 60 hertz version.
And for
Okay,
those
that might not seem...
For those that aren't too acknowledging that, that's pretty much the difference between 50 FPS and 60 FPS.
Right. Which doesn't sound like a big deal, right?
It's technically not, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, what if I were to tell you that 50 hertz problem on top of essentially bad emulation hardware on the inside of the PlayStation Classic pretty much made some games kind of unplayable. For instance, Grand Theft Auto, it is practically unplayable because of not only it being the 50 hertz PAL version, but trying to convert that to 60 hertz because the PlayStation Classic is running 60 hertz primarily, even when it's doing one of the PAL 50 hertz games. And on top of slowdown and jittering, like bad jittering. Like, Grand Theft Auto is practically unplayable. Tekken 3 feels like you are playing in mud of how sluggish it feels.
Well, okay. I'm gonna say this. I've kind of been leery about this the entire way. Not so much because of the game lineup, but because I know how really in 64PS era onward, it's harder to emulate stuff.
Right.
And since all of these classics are kind of being built with emulation in mind, it's like, yeah, that's not going to work like you want it to.
Right. But the hilarious thing about all of this is I encourage everyone to go to Digital Foundry on YouTube, look at their video on the PlayStation Classic, and watch their entire breakdown on this because they get down into the nitty-gritty of this. And also, they show the comparison between the emulation on the PlayStation Classic, the emulation on an NVIDIA Shield using essentially any kind of computer. I forget what it was, but it was computer-based emulation for the PlayStation Classic. PSP/Vita emulation in the original hardware. The Classic is running worse than original hardware, and worse than PSP emulation, which was working practically flawlessly.
Well, okay, I'm going to say this, too. You know why the NES and SNES classics both got broke so easily?
Because they were running existing emulation?
That, and one little thing. Most of these have been running Linux, aka open source software, aka easy to crack.
Well, I believe if I'm remembering right, the Classic is also using open source software and using emulation that you can get a hold of right now, and it's still running worse.
Yeah.
Which is like, Okay, you're telling me that you are literally the worst running PlayStation emulator possible. How? How can you be the worst when you're built off things that actually work? And also, you should be built on a device that you sold for way more than this thing that also ran it practically flawlessly.
Because with this, they're trying to make it cheaper. So you're effectively taking more than likely a RetroPie setup and trying to run a PS emulator off of it, which doesn't exactly work. Because I think I'm wanting to say from what I've seen, it kind of struggles with N64 stuff, but it can do it. And I think the same is going to be said with PS stuff. It's like, yeah, they probably needed to actually try to build something.
Yeah. I also didn't realize this until Digital Foundry talked about it. That Tom Clancy Rainbow Six, that's a bad port of the game already.
I thought so.
I didn't know that.
I thought that one was the one that always kind of got crapped on because of that.
Yep, it is. Also, thankfully,
100%, but I knew it was one of them that it was like, yeah, that one just got completely crapped all over.
Yep. Also, thankfully, the Resident Evil that we have is not the Resident Evil with the terrible music. For those not wondering, look up basement theme from the bad basement theme for Resident Evil. If you get the one that sounds like it's a tuba dying, yeah, that one. It's not this one, thankfully. So that's one saving grace of this. We didn't get that version of Resident Evil. Yeah, even Final Fantasy VII, which is a non-PAL version, it's an NTCS version, still has slowdown and graphical issues. It still has issues,
I
and that had a piece.
Right
What?
I started to look up something, and I'm like, wait,
okay.
I can't. That's the one that's being captured.
Okay. But yeah, the Final Fantasy VII still even has issues. So it's not just the PAL versions that are having like performance in like functional issues. No, it is across the board. Like several of these games are having really bad issues.
I'm curious.
And honestly, for
them, because if they're using the emulator, I'm thinking they are. I wonder if that was set up the right way.
I can look up Digital Foundry's video because they specify the hardware. Because it is specified internally, the PlayStation Classic and its menus, what it's using. PCSX Rearmed. That's part of what it's running. I don't know if that's the main emulation tech that they're running. What?
That's explaining quite a bit right there.
I would assume so.
That emulator is actually a fork of another emulator that runs on ARM architecture, aka cell phone architecture. So
that's
it's
certainly.
the mobile port kind of concept. That's where the problem's coming in.
Ah.
Meaning that is ran on a RetroPie. Good news is you can get the emulator. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I encourage everyone to go check out Digital Foundry. If you are interested in the PlayStation Classic, go watch Digital Foundry's video that breaks down the technical end of this before you attempt to buy this, because yeah, that is probably the most well-informed opinion you're going to need. A really well-informed opinion you're going to need if you want to buy this. But anything else before we move on to a quick Pokemon thing?
I don't guess so.
All right, so you know how you're worried about the Let's Go games being the norm?
I still don't believe this.
Apparently, according to Masuda, Let's Go isn't a spinoff, and that future titles could connect to the Pokemon Go. Apparently, whether or not Pokemon Go being connected to more games will be dependent on how the games are received. And yeah, apparently the Let's Go games are not spin-offs. They are core titles. So, yeah. I know, I sense the look you're giving of just like, don't like this. I don't like this one bit.
I mainly don't like it because of the way you go about capturing. Like, that just doesn't feel Pokemon.
Yeah. Although it has made shiny hunting in this game like supremely easy. Like, that's one of the bigger, like, deeper things I've seen coming out of Let's Go is that if you want a shiny from like one of the one of the Kanto Pokemon outside of legendaries, kind of, Pokemon Let's Go is probably a really easy way to do it. Like, really easy way. Because your main method of doing it is just doing a catch combo of the same Pokemon. And once you get high enough, you're essentially dramatically increasing your odds every time you do a catch combo. And it's only in like the 200s. Or 2 to 300s, I think. Might be closer to the 300s.
But, okay, here's the other issue with that, though. Yeah, it might make shiny hunting easier, but that also, in turn, technically means that more people are going to be able to have shinies. Therefore, kind of removing the importance of a shiny.
Yeah.
Meaning, why even have them at this point, then?
Yeah, it does make them a little bit more common. Granted, I think some people are liking that because it's like, hey, I get shiny. Like, here I am, who spent like far more time than I even remember doing fucking Masuda method to get my shiny Charizard.
It's one of those. It takes something that used to be a rare find or the product of countless hours of work and turns it into a somewhat uncommon thing that
Yeah.
not everyone's going to have, but most people probably will if they even are remotely trying.
Yeah.
And it's like, Not to mention, that compounded with the fact of you're not actually battling the Pokemon you're capturing. To, do the traditional, you weaken them before you attempt to catch them.
Yeah.
It's like, going from that to feed them berries so that'll boost your catch rate. Because yes, I've seen a little bit, and that was enough for me. It's like, nope. Looks good. Don't get me wrong. I'll say it looks good. But nope.
It also doesn't help that the game is really easy. Like, you know how like a couple of the early gyms you have to have the specific Pokemon of a specific type in order to get in?
Yeah.
Well, there's a requirement to get into every gym, but that's not the case. It is kind of different depending on the gym. Like, a couple of them require you to have caught a certain number of Pokemon. I know one of them requires you to have caught a cute Pokemon. I think it's Erica's gym that requires you to have caught a cute Pokemon, which I know a Caterpie counts. I'm guessing your partner will probably count for that too. So, granted, your partner is severely broken in this game. Like, it was obvious before the game came out that your partner was going to be busted all hell, considering they were given like water and fire and electric type moves. And they also both Pikachu and Eevee get double hit. Will have double hit practically by the time you get to Brock, which means you can blow through Brock with no issue with double hit. Or not double hit, double kick. And also, apparently in a couple of the dungeons, or at least in Mount Moon, there's a guy who will just give you Pokeballs if you're out. It's like, hey, here's 20 Pokeballs if you're out, or if you're low. Here, go catch more. That was the problem. That was the thing I was worried about. It's like, this game is going to be super fucking easy, and I'm like, can we not? Like, I think they made Let's Go a little too easy.
I'm gonna say this. I hope for Gen 8 they do one of two things. They either go back to what has worked for Pokemon so far, or they use the extra time they're using development-wise to maybe implement two different takes on the game. Like, you could have the Let's Go take where you're doing pretty much the same stuff you are in Let's Go and have the easy route. Or you can do the traditional Pokemon battling to capture and all that fun stuff that has worked so far.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the best option.
Yeah. I do hope they keep that the Pokemon are in the overworld, because that, I actually like that.
Yeah, graphical, I hope they kind of keep that same setup.
Yeah.
I just hope gameplay-wise they realize this was easy mode, and the core players aren't going to want easy mode.
Yeah, we would like a little challenge, like at least make us think of type advantage. If this game doesn't look like it cares.
Like, I would be perfectly fine if you boot up a Gen 8 Pokemon game and it says, what style of play do you want? And has the Let's Go and Classic. That would be fine with me.
Yeah, because they did that same thing with Fire Emblem. And I'm okay with that.
Because then, if you're new, go with the Let's Go. Since that would be easy mode. But if you want a challenge, go with Classic.
Yep. because Fates and I believe Valentia both have the option of going with the casual mode, which means your units don't permanently die. They're just, if they get KO'd, they're out for the map. Which I'm perfectly okay with it because there's still the normal difficulty of the game where your units have permadeath. Hell, there's even an easier mode where your units will respawn every turn if they're knocked out. Which I think is a little too much.
Yeah, that's a little overkill.
But yeah, like, at least giving people the option of being like, alright, you don't have to worry about permadeath. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that, with how Fire Emblem is, that's a nice thing to have for someone newer. So they are not fucking just struggling through some maps or struggling for hours trying to get one map to go right for them.
Well, and I'd venture to say something like that is probably more welcoming for newer players.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come in, they'll see, oh, well, this isn't too bad. And then they might want to go back through a second playthrough on the settings with permadeath, just to see what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the same thing should be done with Pokemon if we're going forward. If this truly isn't a spin-off and this is going to be part of the core titles, then they need to signify that in some fashion. Let this be the easy mode. One of those, if you think about it, the way classic Pokemon games go anyhow, you always pick a starter. So that solves the problem of the partner Pokemon. Just let the starter be the partner Pokemon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's easy answers.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the partner mechanic of making your partner special.
I don't like the fact that you can't change it, but I do also get the fact that, you know, this is called Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee.
Right.
So that makes sense. But going forward, I think we should be able to change the partner Pokemon.
Right. Or at the very least be able to evolve them, because, yeah.
Yeah.
I see why they had to, like, make Pikachu and Eevee busted as all fuck, because you've essentially kneecapped them both on their evolutions and what they can do with their evolutions. You gotta give them something in return. They just went overboard with it. They made them too good. I think you can just about solo the game with the both of them. With either one.
I could see it. But yeah, it's one of those, especially because I don't play Pokemon Go, Let's Go's probably not going to be on my pickup list. Just period. Yeah,
I'm debating it too. Especially when there's, you know, another RPG I would like to play on the Switch in the form of Octopath Traveler that I'm more interested in.
Well, I mean, with me, it's not even taking that into consideration. It's just a case of this game feels like it is meant to mainly tie the Pokemon Go players into the main series. And like I've seen, I'm not a big fan of some of the mechanics in it right now.
Yeah.
It's not a bad, I'm not a fan of it. It's just I don't feel like the core players really need to be buying the game. That needs to send the message to Nintendo to be like, wait a minute. Let's try something to split the gap here.
Yeah. Shall we talk releases then?
I guess we shall.
Because that's all we had for this week. Because yeah, look, not a whole lot. Thankfully, we'll have a bunch of reveals from the Game Awards next time. if there's anything good revealed at the Game Awards. Although the Russo brothers are going to be at the Game Awards presenting. For those that don't know why that's important, they're the directors of the Avengers movies recently. So that's kind of big. Maybe we might get a Marvel related thing. Maybe the Avengers 4 trailer. I highly doubt it. But you know, Square Enix is working on an Avengers game. Maybe they finally fucking have something working on that shit.
Maybe that then. Like, I would kind of be... I would really like a release date for Metroid Prime 4, but heck, even a trailer would probably suffice.
Well, Nintendo's always had a thing for the Game Awards in the last few years, so it's guaranteed for there to be a Nintendo something at the Game Awards, but
well, the reason why I'm not dead set on a release date is because we haven't really seen a lot from it.
I was about to say, we haven't seen anything from it besides the title.
Exactly. So I feel like early 2019 might be pushing. It might be more late 2019.
It will be in the same release slot as Smash and Odyssey have been. And Breath of the Wild. Aren't they all fall releases?
Nope.
No? No?
You shot yourself in the foot when you added Breath of the Wild in there.
Was Breath? Oh yeah, right. Breath of the Wild wasn't launched. It was a mid. Yeah, never mind. I was like, yeah, that was a fall. Oh right, no, because I was thinking the connection I was making was how they presented at E3 with those games. They've all were major parts of their E3 press conferences, and I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be next year's one. That's where I jumped the gap backwards. That's my fault. Because I'm assuming Metroid Prime 4...
That I don't know. Because they've been trying to release games pretty regularly. So that's one of those where I'm like, I don't know. It might be a late 2019, but it could be mid 2019 even.
Yeah. Either or. Granted, honestly, I would see Three Kingdoms being more of that mid-tier release date than Metroid Prime. I feel like Metroid Prime is the bigger release, so that would be the more towards holiday release, not the summer release that I feel like Fire Emblem Three Kingdoms will be. So I feel like they would save the bigger gun for the holiday season.
Maybe. Because I mean, at the same point, I kinda could have saw really the Switch launch and Breath of the Wild being more towards the holiday season too. Yet they dropped those early of the year. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. Nintendo's kind of playing by different balls right now.
Right. I'm just trying to play by the playbook they seem to be setting up of our E3s we'll have like game lineups, but our booth is really based around one major title. And I feel like Prime 4 is that major title next year. Because if not that, maybe Gen 8 Pokemon. But I feel like since it was Smash and Let's Go this year, it will be like Prime 4 in Gen 8. Because Gen 8 will have its own like subsection of the booth. But it'll be primarily Prime 4.
To be the prime focus of it.
That's true. That could definitely be the case.
If they want Gen 8 to be the main focus of it, then it might be more likely to see maybe the Fire Emblem game alongside it.
Yeah, Three Kingdoms.
Which would put Metroid Prime being more than likely a mid-year release.
that means it would still be at E3 to some capacity, because I don't think they would put it out before E3. I wouldn't think. It would probably be a July release. So I'm trying to think, when was Splatoon 2 released?
July.
Yeah, it's July then. It'll probably be a July release.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's still mid-year, so...
Yeah. Yeah, that means, but they still means they can promote it at E3, because it will be before it came out. Unless you want to be one of those weird people that still promotes it after it comes out.
By that point, they would have already said as much as they probably would want to for it.
Right.
So it wouldn't need a booth spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll just be on one of the switches on the floor at their booth.
So I mean that's going to be the big question. Which is going to be their main focus?
Right, because that's on the
if it's
table.
Gen 8, then I could see Fire Emblem being the secondary.
Yeah.
I can't see them putting Prime 4 as the secondary if Gen 8's the main. The other way around, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no.
Yeah, Bayonetta 3 is also on the table. Granted, all we have is that teaser trailer, so we don't have a whole lot on Bayonetta 3 either.
I feel like that one would probably be a late. Like super late 19, maybe early 20.
Yeah, maybe.
Like that one's question mark.
Let's see, that's on the table. We have a Kirby game on the docket, don't we, as well? I'm trying to think if it's Kirby or Yoshi.
I think it's Yoshi. Because didn't we just have a Kirby?
Yes. I'm trying to, is it a Yoshi? It's the yarn, that yarn.
The craft Yoshi one, yeah.
Yeah, it's the crafting. Yeah, okay, it is Yoshi.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think, it's like, is it the crafting Kirby or the crafting Yoshi? Because they decided to apply both those aesthetics to both of them. So I'm not sure which one has it this year. Yeah, that's on the docket.
Actually, might be both. Oh, no. Star Allies was this year.
Yeah, Star Allies was this year, right? Because they're still putting out DLC for it.
Yeah,
I think they just put out the last batch DLC for it.
So yeah, Kirby was this year, so yeah, it'd be Yoshi.
Okay,
That's what I was thinking.
It's a craft-based Yoshi game, but that's on the docket.
That one, though, I feel like it's going to be early 19.
Yeah, that's probably an early release, because that's probably...
that's going to be their early 19 game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not necessarily Q1, but maybe Q2.
I also can't wait for them to tease whatever Monolith stops working, because they're hiring for a new project, but we probably won't see that for like 3 years. 2 to 3 years at max. Yeah. Can't wait for Nintendo to go, Xenoblade Chronicles seems to be working. Why don't we just turn that into a JRPG franchise for us?
You know what I just thought about?
What?
The thing we mentioned earlier. We don't know what Retro's working on.
Yeah. Once more, the everlasting question. That is a running question. That we just like, what the fuck is Retro working on?
So it's entirely possible that that one could be in some of the talk for the end of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the problem. Right now, I don't think Nintendo has a lot early next year. I think they accidentally fell into the same trap that they usually do. And they were doing so good.
Well, the thing is that I think they're filling it out earlier with all their 3DS releases, because there's nothing coming out to the 3DS until next year.
Yeah, but that wasn't the intent with the Switch.
Yeah.
So that's one of those, I'm like, they were doing so good. And then when both ARMS and Splatoon and really Breath of the Wild kind of just dried up with their DLCs, that's when everything went to crap. Because, like, sure, Odyssey's getting the occasional outfit, but is that really going to make people want to play through the game more?
Yeah. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Tales of Vesperia, Onimusha Warlords, and Travis Strikes Again is all coming out January next year. February gives us Trials Rising? Yeah. Yeah, I got stuff through March 26th. And then we're off in the quarter one stuff with no specific release date, and I'm not seeing anything super big that isn't a port or probably an indie title of some kind. Like, oh, Slay the Spire's coming to Switch. That's cool.
Ooh.
Yoshi's Crafted World. That's
yeah.
Shovel Knight King of Cards comes out April.
We'll say that's Q2 stuff.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses is listed as quarter two. Bloodstain is supposed to be next year at some point. There's a Digimon game coming at some point. All of those Final Fantasy games that got announced are next year. Luigi's Mansion 3 is next year. I forgot about that. The Ace Attorney Trilogy is next year. A bunch of Resident Evil titles. Wait, Saints Row is supposed to come to the Switch? Okay.
Oh, God.
Saints Row the Third. Okay, that's apparently a thing. I didn't hear about that. And then we're into to be announced stuff like Bayonetta 3. Doom Eternal, which doesn't have a release date yet. Hi, Telltale game. You're not happening. Prime 4. Excuse me, when was Oddworld Stranger's Wrath said to be coming to the Switch? Alright, Wikipedia, now I have questions.
No, we touched on that at some point, I thought.
Okay.
I can't remember when, but I'm pretty sure I remember us here saying something about that.
Okay. I just see that listed and I'm like, excuse me? And there's a bunch of unreleased stuff. That's mainly just looks like Japanese only stuff. So yeah, there's a little early stuff. Were we in the same position last year around the same time where it's just like we don't know where the big stuff for the Switch is at?
Yeah.
It's all in the cards at the moment. We're like, we know games are coming, but we don't know when. Anyway, shall we get the releases?
I guess we shall.
Alright, kicking things off on the 3rd, tomorrow. Excuse me, Demetrius, The Big Cynical Adventure for Switch. And then on the 4th, Headboy. We got Arca's Path for PlayStation 4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey Story Arc 1, Legend of the First Blade for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Astrology and Horoscope Premium for PlayStation 4, Atelier Arlen Series Deluxe Pack for PlayStation 4 and Switch, Betty Bass Treasure Hunt for PlayStation 4, Emerald Shoes for Vita, Escape Game Aloha for PlayStation 4, Gear Club Unlimited 2 for Switch, Gwent, the Witcher card game for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Just Cause 4 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Just Deal With It for PlayStation 4, Lego DC Supervillains Aquaman Movie Pack 1 for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Switch, Monica Ia Guarda dos Colios for PlayStation 4, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom for Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Switch, Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Override Mech City Brawl, Supercharged Mega Edition for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I believe John streamed that like last week. I think that's just a big giant robot fighting game. That looks pretty cool. Persona 5 or Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight for PlayStation 4 and Vita. You can also get that in the pack, but I didn't list it because meh. Pinball FX3 Williams Pinball Volume 2 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch. Prison Bros VR for PlayStation 4. Smash It Plunder for PlayStation 4. Subnautica for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Super Life of Pixel for PlayStation 4 and Vita. Toki Retrolector. The fuck is that word? Retrolector. Wow, these edition for Switch. The Council Episode 5 Checkmate for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. The Realm Breaker, The Witcher Trials for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and Word Hunters for PlayStation 4. On the 5th, we have Energy Cycle Edge for PlayStation 4, Vita, and Switch, and Picture Party VR for PlayStation 4. On the 6th, we have Battle Princess Madeline. I cannot read tonight. Madeline for Xbox One. What did you say? Madeline. Why did I not think of that? Jesus, I can't read tonight. But yeah, it's for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Vita, Wii U, and Switch. Our only Wii U release. Whoa. Yay. Beholder Complete Edition for Switch. Caracas, I can't speak either. Carcassonne for Switch. Colors In for Switch. Conduct Together for Switch. Jagged Alliance. Rage for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Long Story, a dating game for the real world for Switch. Rival McGagan for Switch. The Last Remnant Remaster for PlayStation 4. I will stop being tongue-tied at some point in this.
No, you won't.
No, that's half the reason I do the releases, so I could sound like an ass. Ultimate Runner for Switch. On the 7th, really important day, folks, we have Gun and Stories Bulletproof VR for PlayStation 4. Headlander for PlayStation 4, Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Katamari Damacy Reroll for Switch, PlayerUnknown's Battleground for PlayStation 4, Sega Genesis Classics for Switch, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse for Switch, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for Switch. I will be picking up my copy day goddamn one. I will literally get up, run the GameStop, and be like, yo, give me that game. I lost my spot because for some reason when I
on the tab.
Yeah, when I clicked over another time, it was back up at the top for some reason. On the 10th, Guacamelee 2 for Switch. On the 11th, Desert Child for PlayStation 4 and Switch. Double Switch 25th Anniversary Edition for PlayStation 4. Earth Defense Force 5 for PlayStation 4. Everspace Stellar Edition for Switch. Gungrave VR for PlayStation 4, Kingdom 2 Crowns for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Switch, Salt and Sanctuary Drowned Tome Edition for Switch, Solar Flux for Switch, and Zone for PlayStation 4. On the 12th, we have Desert Child for Xbox One, Final Fantasy 15 Comrades for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Gnome Garden's New Home for PlayStation 4, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy, Joan of Arc for PlayStation 4. On the 13th, we have Gris for Switch, Hunter's Legacy Perfect Edition for Switch, Knights of Pen and Paper 2, Deluxeist Edition? Deluxeist? The fuck is the pun you're trying to make? I know you're trying to make a pun. That's Deluxeist, right?
Deluxeist, yeah.
Okay. What is even that pun?
It's the Deluxeist edition.
I guess.
I guess they've already done a deluxe edition.
Apparently. We have Omen Sight Definitive Edition for Switch. Oxjet for Switch, Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures for Switch, Sega Ages Fantasy Star for Switch, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy, John Dark for Switch, and Starman for Switch. On the 14th, we have Big Crown Showdown for Switch, Borderlands 2 VR for PlayStation 4, Code Realize, Wintertide Miracle for PlayStation 4, Lazy Galaxy Rebel Story for Switch, and Rally Racers for Xbox One. Ugh. And thus brings us to quick draws. And you remember when I was telling you that when Tsukasa's actor was asked why the Deca Driver was a different color, it was for money?
Yeah.
Well, that's wrong. That was a mistranslation. He actually wanted it repainted to pink because he didn't like the white. So he paid somebody to repaint it. But, well, after the preview images came out for this past week's episode of Geo, we saw the pink Deca Driver, people made fake scans of Bandai selling said Deca Driver as a toy. Well, those fake leaks turned out to be real leaks, because you can legitimately now buy, or at least, well, I say that, but you can't, because the pre-orders have already sold out for this, from what I've read, through Premium Bandai for the Neo Deca Driver. For those curious, the Neo Deca Driver comes with all of the original 10 Heisei Rider cards, the 10 Neo Heisei Fei 2 Rider cards, through Geo, so Decade can become Geo himself, and since Decade can assume form changes of Decade.
Wait.
What?
So that means that he can be a king of time that is the destroyer of worlds.
Yes.
Oh dear God.
Well, what I was going to say is he can become, since he can do changes based off the riders he's assumed, he can be Geo Decade Arms.
Oh God, that's wow.
He can literally become that, and if you want to keep going further, he can become Geo any of the other rider armors as well, just to compile it further. Because again, that's a power set of Decade. That's within his power set to do this.
I would love it if someone would actually do like a mock-up of that.
Well, here's the thing. It's the easiest thing in the world to do, because all you do is swap the belts. Because that is the only difference when Decade assumes any other rider forms, is just you replace you replace their belt with the Deca Driver. Literally, people have done that with dozens of Figure. It's just replace the Deca Driver.
But what I'm actually talking about, though, is doing Decade Geo Decade arms. That would be hilarious.
Well, we get it next week. It also comes with the Final Attack rides for all 20 Heisei riders. It comes with all of the original Final Form ride cards, plus the Decade one from all riders when Tsukasa, Decade got turned into the Deca Driver for J to become Decade Complete. No final common attack form ride card from all riders, unfortunately. And that's it. I know somebody talked about this in the forum thread. Somebody actually analyzed the codes to see what all they were, because recently they've released a complete selection driver, or complete selection version of the Deca Driver that came with all of the cards that ever appeared in Kamen Rider Decade, and even in the movies. So literally every card, even all of DN's cards as well, and it was programmed to utilize all of them. Apparently, some of those cards are having their barcodes reused for this driver. Like apparently, according to this one user, the X8 card is actually Agito's Shining form from that set. Geo is Ryuki Survive. The Final Attack Ride Double is Kiva Emperor. O's is Rising Ultimate, or Kuga Rising Ultimate. Wizards is Den-O Super Climax. Gaim is Skull. Drive is Nigo. Build is The End. And Geo is this. Oh, it's from the. You remember the Shinkenger episodes?
Yeah.
When the monster got a hold of the DN driver.
Yeah.
The special attack card from that. He could not identify Ghost Build, the Forze final attacks, or the Forze Ghost and X8 final attacks. So they might just be new barcodes. So yeah, this is a thing that exists, and I'm not surprised. I just find it hilarious that the Complete Selection driver was released not that long ago, and now if you like Decade and want to get all the merchandise for Decade, oh look, here you go, having to buy another version of the Decade driver. Even though, as pointed out by somebody on Tumblr, I believe this is Deshinta, Decade doesn't need a new version of the belt to just assume riders' identities. Like, he could use the final form ride of Double with his regular drop. Which, also surprising enough, is not in this collection. Although I think it's in the Complete Selection. I don't know why the Double final form ride card is not here. Because I would think they would throw that in here, considering what was in the set.
You know what's kind of funny, though, looking at it? The Neo Deca driver actually looks better. Like, it actually fits with the suit.
Yeah. It kind of does.
It's like, that's funny.
Yeah, I was thinking the white was better because it broke up the suit, but no, I'm kind of I kind of dig the pink better. And for those wondering, yes, all of the rider symbols are on there, minus Geos and Decades, even though Decades is supposed to be in the middle when you insert the card. Oh, yeah. Also, like, the theoretical, or at least it was shown in SIC, the final form ride for O's, which just equips Decade with a bunch of O's themed armor pieces. So technically we have final form rides from Kuga through O's. Thanks to extended material, which I don't know why they just don't do all the, just because, like, it's just going to be card. You don't have to put that much work. You just get a couple designers together and be like, all right, do final form rights for like Forze through Geo. Go. Just go with whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, the final form rights are, like, half of them are redundant and the rest are kind of dumb. Like, I'm sorry, I've never been the biggest fan of the final form rides. I just think they're some of them are just lazy. Like Agito turning into his bike. That just seems redundant, considering that Tsukasa can literally turn his bike into any rider's bike if he wanted to. That's another thing about his power set. Because he did it in episode 1. He changed his bike into the Autovajin, which is Fize's bike. He could literally do that. Which is why Gorham is kind of redundant, because he could probably summon Gorham. In the Ryuki one where he turns Ryuki into Drag Redder, he has a card to summon Drag Redder because of Ryuki's power set. He doesn't need the Final Form Ride card to do that. Unless he wants double Drag Redder, like, he doesn't need to turn Ryuki into Drag Redder to summon Drag Redder. But yeah. I have a whole rant on the Final Form Rides. There's just like, this was dumb. We've done better than Final Form Rides then. But yeah, that was pretty much it. It comes out March of next year, and it's $90. $91 actually. But right now the pre-orders are sold out unless they do a second run. Well, you're probably shit out of luck until it gets on the aftermarket, and it's going to cost you more than $90 when that happens.
Yep.
That was it for me. You got no quick draw, correct?
Right, I ain't got one.
All right. Yeah, that's it. I don't look forward to when Geo subbed.
It could be worse.
Although I have seen the Raw for this week's episode. I swear to God, Tsukasa looks directly at the camera for one line, just to be just to be him, and I'm like, you know what, Tsukasa? You literally have only been here for like 3 minutes, and you already have far more screen presence or far more presence than Sogo does in like 13 episodes.
Well, you know, it's because while his show wasn't the best, at least he had character development.
At least he had a character. That's the thing here. He has a character. It's not even that he had character development. He had a character. That is Sogo's problem. He doesn't have a character.
Yeah. Unless you take the 0.5s into account, and then is that really a character? Or
I'm willing to bet that somewhere somebody in the writer's room is like, oh yeah, the 0.5 episodes are totally canon. That's where all our character development is, and I'm like, I am not suffering through every single one of these just to get these fucking characters to be likable. Fuck off.
The simple fact that they're so short, I let 2 or 3 of them pile up before I decided to go watch them.
Well, I tried watching like last week's one, and I had to stop with like Schwartz soda and was hamming it up every 5 seconds, and I'm like, no, you go sit in your corner, good sir. I cannot handle the amount of ham you're throwing on screen right now. No, especially when they decide to slip in there that Schwartz may not be from 2068, just casually like this might be a plot point. Or as I saw images of them totally not like highlighting, Waz might turn out to be a bad guy. Because, you know, that's supposed to be surprising, and also totally not spotlighting the fact that, you know, the Christmas episode might be traumatic as fuck.
Okay. To this, I'm gonna say, they're acting like that's surprising. That Waz is gonna be a bad guy. Haven't I been calling that, like, the entire show?
To be fair, it is very much where they should be going.
Like, is it bad at this point? I feel like that's what the show should do, but at the same time, I'm like, they are not gonna do that. Sogo is actually gonna become Omageo, is how this show's gonna play out.
And that's a problem right now because I don't give a shit when he falls. Like, you can't do a heel turn if you don't make the guy likable to start with, so I am sad when he does the heel turn. Because instead of being sad, I'm cheering because Sogo will finally do something interesting.
Yeah. But that's actually what I think is the problem. Is that the direction they should be going is Waz should become Omageo. The problem is I feel like the show's gonna make Sogo be Omageo. For no reason. And it's like,
Honestly, if there was a middle ground, I would like it if it was just somebody else. That it was just somebody else, and that technically Omageo is another rider that Time Jacker gave birth to, and Waz is just secretly making sure everything falls into place. Like,
Omageo,
weird little...
Omageo is effectively going to be another rider.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with that is, it's going to wind up, unless they do something really weird, it's going to be Waz.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the heel turn's gonna be after we've traveled through all the other timelines of the riders.
Yeah.
And that's simply gonna be because of one thing. They're gonna be able to pander to an upgrade because Waz is gonna know his abilities from all the other riders.
Yeah.
Like, that is exactly what they've set up. The issue is they're probably not going to follow through with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how can this show have one thing they could do right, but we all know they're going to screw it up because they've screwed everything else up?
Because Geo does everything in the most complicated way possible. For, like, no reason. When it could have been simpler.
Could have been far simpler.
Yeah.
Because, you know, why are we still playing around with the fact that, you know, we're not fixing the timeline?
Yeah, that wonderful part. Especially when the movie, when Heisei Generation Forever is based around the fact that, no, the timeline's okay at the moment. The fuck it is, son!
Like, part of me is thinking something with the decade upgrade might be what sparks the going back and fixing everything. And that might be what puts Forever back in time, in the proper timeline kind of deal. But then the other part of me is like, it's a movie. Toei has been extremely blatant about never following through with continuity for the movies. So, nope, not gonna happen.
Also, I think a recent trailer kind of confirmed that, yeah, Shotaro and Philip are probably not going to show up because everyone acts surprised when Sogo just has the double ride watch on him, apparently. So, I guess we're not getting Shotaro and Philip back for this. Which, you know what I find hilarious?
What?
We're probably going to get another rider for all of the... potentially all of the main riders except Decade at this rate. Maybe. I say that because I don't know if we're gonna get like Agito, another Agito, well, another Agito, not the other another Agito, because there's technically already another Agito in this equation.
Yeah, because once you bring Decade into it, the first 10, yeah.
Well, there is a actual rider called another Agito.
Well, but you've also got to keep in mind the already existing AR riders.
Yes. But I think Toei's quietly sleeping them under the rug of like, shh, don't worry about them.
They've already
just forget about them.
Decade in, though. That means
We're not bringing in his stuff. Just him. Because look, Dian's not here, and Natsumi's not here, and Onodori's not here. So don't worry about all those other versions. Like, they don't exist.
Except they do.
Yeah.
Because the show only picks continuity that it wants to follow, and I have a bad feeling that would be one.
Yeah. But yeah, we won't see like any of the early Heisei Another Riders because, according to the Soto blog, when they were putting out, or they're doing the toy stuff for like the Den-O armor and the Ryuki armor and now the Kuga armor, for the Den-O Ryuki ones, they weren't sure if those armors were going to show up in the show. So as far as they know, that's an in question thing, which makes me go, we're not going to get another Riders of them, are we? Like, Den-O might be or Den-O and Kuga might be the only, like, first 10 Heisei Another Riders we're going to get.
Question mark.
Well, them and Fives. I forgot about Fives. Because, let's see, right now... I'll play this just gives me a list real quick. We're gonna get another Double in the movie, we've got another O's, we got another Borze, we got another Wizard, and another Drive. Another Gaim. We don't have another Drive.
Yeah, because the Drive Ride Watch just kind of appeared.
Right, but we got another Ghost this week. So another Drive is still on the table of possibilities, even though the Ghost Ride Watch already exists. Which, can't wait for them to kind of explain their way out of that one. I guess Tsukasa's here so we can introduce the Decade Ride Watch, so you just don't worry about it. We can just sidestep that issue.
Well, why couldn't we say that it got stole? And they happened to get it.
Because they don't want to say that, even though that's what I have to assume to be the case. Because I don't think they even said where Gates got his GQ driver from.
At this point, we have to suspect that it was something similar to how Sogo got his.
Right, but Sogo's got his from Waz. Why would Waz give
that Waz and Gates at one point were at least in better terms? Because you can kind of tell that.
Yeah.
They might never have been buddies, but let's be honest, I don't think Gates really has been with too many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but another Drive goes to X8 build. That knocks out, but we pretty much have all of the second half of the riders.
You know, not to mention, I also happen to think about it. Gates seems to make Waz be like he needs to be out of the picture for Omageo to exist.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't surprise me if Waz wasn't the reason Gates has his GQ driver. Because how better to get someone out of the way than to get them killed?
Well, he's technically dead at the moment.
So... Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Would make sense.
Yeah, I think all the other riders we're missing are Agito, Ryuki, Blade, Hibiki, Kabuto, Kiba, and Decade. That's all we're missing. We're only missing 7 plus Drive. But we might only be getting Drive. I guess it really depends on where we're going after this. I guess we'll find out like next week. Maybe where our direction is. Whether or not we're going to get more Another Riders. Looking at the Forza 5's one, they kind of already showing that, like, if we need to, we will cheat the fuck out and combine 2 into 1, because the only real difference between the Forza and the 5's one is just the upper chest armor and the helmet. They are literally the exact same suit from, like, the waist down.
I feel like we're probably not going to get the Drive one.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I almost feel like we probably would have gotten some kind of a hint by this point about that.
Yeah. That kind of sucks, because that means we won't get a complete, like, 10 from either era, really. Also, I forgot how hollow fucking Another Kuga is. Because the picture we got of Another Kuga is on a black background, so it kind of hides the hollowness of the CGI design, which, once you put it on a white or a lighter background, yeah, it comes fairly obvious.
Holy
there.
Crap.
Yeah. Yeah, you can start to see the holes in the CGI model. Like, just look in the chest area.
Jeez.
This is why I kinda don't like Another Kuga. Because this is supposed to be some big giant thing that we're gonna have a CGI fight with the Time Majin.
Probably.
Because the Kuga armor looks to be only showing up in the pilot, or piloting the Time Majin. So. I'm sad that we don't have Another Kuga looking very much like kind of like Indagawa Zeba. Or like a mix between like Kuga Mighty and Indagawa Zeba in design specs, because I think that's where they would go with another rider version of it. And I'm sad we're not getting that. We're just getting this giant monster Kuga thing. Yay. $10. This is Super Time Jacker guy.
Probably.
Especially since he keeps being shown in the grave site. Or the burial site for the Grongi and the original Kuga. I would not be surprised if it's another Kuga.
I wouldn't either.
Granted, we don't know who another Double and another Deno are. But I doubt they matter in the grand scheme of things.
Probably just there to shill the new ride watches.
Shield the Double one, which they cheaped out on. And we actually haven't even seen the Deno armor in the movie. We might not even see the Deno armor in the movie. Because they're just promoting the Double one and the Kuga, the Double armor and the Kuga armor. They're not even promoting the Deno armor. So we're probably not even going to see it. Which means, oh look, we're going to kind of break that rule about destroying the Another Riders with their power set.
Maybe, maybe not. Might be one of those that Gates goes and does it off screen.
That would actually be hilarious.
Because, I mean, let's be honest, it has to be one of the two of them. And it would probably make more sense to do that.
Yeah. Also, by the way, the entire build crew is powered up for the movie. Not only is Sento and Ryuga back to being powered, So are Kazumi and Gintoku. So.
But no. No.
Yep, we're going down that rabbit hole. Guess you want to find out more? Go watch New World. That'll explain how everyone got repowered. But anything else?
Nope.
All right, then we'll be back in 2 weeks talking more game news stuff. Game Awards reveals most prominently looking like at the moment, unless something else bigger than whatever gets revealed comes up. Between now and then, more Odyssey and the Breath of the Wild for me. SWOTOR and multiplayer shenanigans from the both of us. And what do you have on deck?
Don't know right offhand.
I guess just keep an eye out the schedule for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be the best thing.
Yep.
Basically, for those on the Discord, there's a channel for that. Otherwise, I'm gonna actually try to make an effort to start putting that on the side, because I kind of haven't been the last couple of weeks.
I don't feel bad. I just keep getting further and further behind and getting everything posted on the site.
But
I think once I graduate,
go ahead.
once I graduate, that you'll just see a blast of that as I catch back up, and then I can start going back onto the older stuff that I was doing.
But yeah. Otherwise, as far as what we're doing, just keep an eye on the Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And
I actually don't know if I'll stream Smash when I get it. I'm kind of tempted to do so, but I kind of want to just play World of Light on my own and not worry about anyone barging in and being like blah, 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 about it. So I might be doing World of Light on my own. But I probably will be streaming Smash stuff on like a Wednesday or Thursday stream. At some point.
at some point down the road.
Yeah, because it'll probably be like either me like pushing towards that 9.0 like classic mode run, especially since the classic modes are like specific now to characters. Like I could definitely find myself like finding a classic mode that I'm really good at and like keep pushing the difficulty on until I get 9.0. Especially since it won't be RNG stupidly dependent. So yeah, I'm really hopeful on it. Yeah, that'll do it. So we will see you then, folks.